Hi, I'm Bob Schwartz. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for Global Spectrum, which is a subsidiary of Comcast Spectacor. And for those of you who heard Peter Lugo earlier, he's my boss. I'd first like to say thank you very much for having us here and being part of a panel. But I also want to congratulate you guys and looking out at you and how professional you look. I don't know how much branding was spoke about during the other sessions, but or who was the CEO and so forth, you know, all the models that are out there. But remember, you're the CEO of your brand, and you can enrich that brand every day. And I noticed we were at our table earlier, and people were coming up, students with their resumes. People had business cards. I mean, it was tremendous. I mean, I never had a business card. I graduated in '84 from the UMass Sport Management program. So it really feels so good to be back here and see how professional you're representing yourselves, because that's what's going to sell. You heard the panelists and everybody else selling, but your brand is the most important, and you're the CEO. So you should look to enrich that brand in every opportunity. And a lot of professionals have been here speaking today. Take the advantage of talking to them and ask questions, ask. So I think it's a very unique opportunity that the university presents. It's truly an honor and a pleasure. I never thought I'd come back from Curry Hicks 10. Does anybody have class in Curry Hicks 10 anymore, where the cage was? Okay, 1984. To give you a little bit of my background, I was sitting in Curry Hicks 10, waiting for my introductory to sport management class to begin. My internship was just taken, the rug was pulled from under me. I was all set to go to the Cape Cod Coliseum to do an internship for the summer, and I was more interested in having fun at the beach than doing any kind of internship at the time. But the company shut down, and so did the Coliseum. So I went to my advisor, who at that time was Dr. Lewis, and you heard Peter refer to him earlier today. So I'm bummed out. You know, I got 2 more months to go. I'm graduating. What am I going to do? I'm also a local product from East Hampton. Anybody know where East Hampton is? Okay. Are you from East Hampton?
I went to school there.
Oh, no kidding. All right. Williston?
Yep. Okay.
You didn't come through the tried and true East Hampton High. That was probably discredited when I was there. They couldn't get accredited for their class. But anyway, small mill town. Okay, factories, and that was really the business there. So in coming here in '84, I was sitting in that intro to sport management class, just, you know, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And Dr. Lewis said, there's a phone call for you. So I got a phone call from the class, and you know, got up, and it was a person on the other line said, listen, we need an intern for the fall. You know, what do you think? I said, what do you think? I said, when do I start? You know, what day? The person was Peter Lugo. Peter, as a graduate from the program, kept in touch, got me involved as an intern in the marketing department. And I was so smart at the time, when I met Peter for the first time, he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to get into operations. Right? Somebody told me to say that. I had no clue. And he goes, no, you want to get into marketing. I said, I want to get into marketing. And that really began my career. And everyone has their internship stories. And you know, I was talking with one of the students out here who's been very active. I don't know if they're in here, but he dressed up as a mascot during his internship. I was Sport Goofy during a run of Disney on Ice. There was a time where one of my first jobs was folding press releases, 1, 2, 3, and putting them in an envelope and licking the envelope. Anybody have to do that here? Okay. So I start doing this, and there's a woman sitting next to me, Ellen Diamond, and she was very leery of me because I was a new young college kid coming in, and I kept folding those and licking the envelopes, folding, licking. Did you ever split your tongue on licking the envelopes? Okay, well, I split my tongue like 3 times, and blood was coming out on the envelopes. I didn't know because I didn't want to get this done. And so finally, you know, Ellen opens her desk drawer and pulls out one of those wet little sponge things. So she watched me do this for however many minutes it was. So that was really my introduction into the business in one regard. I think ultimately what got me the job, we had 2 events, a Celtic game and a Bruins prelim game. This was at the Providence Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island. And they had a program book together and basically said, here, Bob, sell program ads. We've never sold program ads. But when I was here at UMass, I used to work at the Mountain Farms Mall at the Olympian Shoe Store, which is probably long gone, and sell running shoes in the retail business. So, you know, I had a little bit of the BS going. I could talk to people and so forth. So I didn't know the first thing about sales or selling. So what do? Well, you don't have the internet back then. So I went and got the Yellow Pages and just started calling people. And I didn't know what was good or bad, but I knew a lot of people were purchasing ads. So the general manager walks when the finished product came in, and I don't know, it was about a 50-page program. He goes, who sold all this? In the past, it's been an 8 to 10-page program. The general manager didn't know my name. Peter was the marketing director at the time. So there's three things, I think, for success that you got to keep in mind. I mean, you got to work hard. And as an intern, I looked at as my entry-level employment. And that's what Dr. Lewis inspired to us. He goes, this is your job interview. This is trial employment. This is not something that you take lightly. So I came suited up, tie, shirt, every day, not really knowing what I was going to do, but I did it and then some. So obviously you got to work hard, you know that, but you really got to walk the walk and talk the talk. You know, if there's anything extra, what can I do? The next thing is you got to find a mentor. And I think there's a lot of us in here that have been in the business for a while. You got to lock on to somebody. You got to find somebody that's doing what you want to do. Find them online, Google people, meet some people this week. Get somebody that's in a position that can advise you of what opportunities exist, how they got to where they are. Very, very important to find someone to help. Okay? And the last thing is you got to be lucky. You got to be lucky. Look at me. I'm sitting in class like, oh, hope this class comes over. Boom, phone rings. It's Peter Lugo. My career's 25 years now, and we've worked together for probably 22 of them. So you don't know what's going to happen. But did the luck get me there? Perhaps, but the hard work sustained it. I have learned from everybody I've encountered in my business and what I've done. Virtually everything. Someone talked about failure earlier. Man, you go out there and you fail. Go for it. Don't do it by design, because in every failure, you're going to learn. And that's how you got to look at failure, as an education. You're not going to have everything done. You're not going to be perfect. Nobody is, and nobody ever will be. And I'll make mistakes tomorrow. But man, I learned from them. So I think if there's one message from your end, it's to work hard, find a mentor, and there is a little bit of luck involved. So I can tell you about my career quickly if you...
Briefly.
25 years.
Briefly.
Well, the internship was the most important. And I mean, I worked for a family show called Feld Entertainment, and it's one part of the business that people don't talk about much, but in the venue business, which is my job, you have shows like Disney on Ice, Ringling Brothers Circus, Sesame Street Live. So you guys aren't the demographic, so you probably don't come into contact with a lot of those entities. But it's a tremendous opportunity. So I was 24 years old, and I got a chance to travel the country. My job as regional marketing director was to go in and set up promotions, marketing, advertising, sales, and then monitor ticket sales until that show came to the market. So tremendous life experience, tremendous experience for business. So there's that opportunity that presented itself. I worked with them for a couple of years, and then Peter called and said, hey, we have an opening in Richmond, Virginia. I went to Richmond, Virginia, and I did work with that agency, by the way. They're the Geico agency, the Martin agency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So worked in Richmond for a couple of years, and then followed Peter out to Los Angeles and worked at the Coliseum and Sports Arena for about 8.5 years, which was another tremendous experience. And then I had the opportunity to work overseas. I worked in London, England, the London Arena and the Docklands of London. I worked there for a couple of years. And then in '96, Peter called back and says, hey, we're opening up the Wells Fargo Center. We'd like you to be part of not only the facility, but this new company we're starting. So I think the message to take out of that is, don't be afraid. That fear, that false evidence, appears real. I mean, go for the opportunity. I thought career first. Okay, it was always career first for me, and I'm not recommending. Everybody's different. Everybody's got their own path. But every opportunity that I had either improved me in position, improved me in market size, but there was always value to the move that I did. And I was fortunate enough to be in those kinds of positions, but I also did the work, had a good mentor, and I got lucky in all those cases.